1 in 3. That's how many American men will face physical violence, sexual assault, or stalking by an intimate partner. 1 in 3 women worldwide will endure physical or sexual abuse, most often by someone they know. But domestic abuse isn't just bruises. It's manipulation, it's fear, it's control that seeps into every part of your life. I'm Ingrid Dutton, and I survived it. Then I created 1 in 3 so no one else has to suffer in silence. Each week, we break that silence together. Occasionally joined by survivors, loved ones, and experts, we talk about the pain, yes, but also about the healing, resilience, and the fight to reclaim your life. This podcast is more than awareness, it's a lifeline. And a reminder, you are seen, you are heard, you are never alone. Search for 1 in 3 wherever you get your podcasts, because every voice matters and every story deserves to be heard.
Hey guys, welcome to our week off, but lucky you, we still have an episode for you. Here is part 2 of Mr. E.
Because Ingrid talks too much. So, hiya, sister.
Hiya, sister.
To our listeners that listened to last week, this is a continuation of last week, as said in the intro. So,
who talks too much now?
Well, I'm going to talk like this whole episode.
Hey, quick. Happy 4th of July, Americans.
Happy 4th of July to everybody. Hopefully you all have fun. Hopefully your dogs don't freak out. Hopefully no fire starts. It's really dry here, so I hope no fire start. Should we touch on the RVW?
Yeah, we don't want this podcast to get all political or religious, but, we did have that soapbox kind of ending on...
You sucks.
That's my favorite ending ever. Be you unless you sucks.
So Supreme Court kind of sucks.
Right. And so everybody has their opinion on this, and we're not going to change anyone's opinion. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to go on a tangent. But this is a prime example of how important it is to vote. Mm-hmm. And if this is not a decision you wanted, go out in full force and make your voices be heard in a legal, civilized manner, mm-hmm. and vote and get everyone else to vote and whatever. If this is the decision that you were looking for, congratulations, I suppose. I don't even want to say that. No.
Oh, ooh. I concur with that sentiment.
Wait,
but if that is I'm sure your reasons to you are very valid.
Right. God bless you for wanting that decision. And that's that. Let's just end that at that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Good call.
But what the
I don't know. I don't know.
It's our birthday. It's our country's birthday, and this, are you kidding me?
And setting us back 40 years. When was Roe versus Wade? I think it was 1980, late. Oh, poop. I don't even know. But
I think it was the 80s.
My question is like
70?
I have to say, the employer that I work for, when this announcement came out on Friday, because we're actually recording the Saturday after the decision was made. And my employer sent something out saying that we are a federal entity and that we do, although we do not provide abortions, that they will not change their stance on contraceptives, and that no federal employee that works for my organization will be penalized for providing contraceptions to people that want them. So I was actually happy to see that. And then it was also signed by the secretary of the group I work for that said, my heart goes out to all of you. Like that was his reply.
So my thing is, personally, it's easy for me to say because I am no longer going to be a childbearing woman. But I personally never would have an abortion. However, I've never been put into a situation where that would be something that someone would consider. That being said, I look at this decision as being specifically against women's rights. And it's kind of scary that that has been in place for so long has been overturned. And
why? What of everything going on in our country right now, that's what you choose to focus on? Really?
Right. Yeah. So anyway, enough said. Let's get on to a mystery.
Yes. Our hearts break with everyone else that's hearts are breaking right now. All right. So I kind of, when Ingrid told me that that we were doing mysteries, which I totally support for our listener, and Edith, not that we have one listener, but it is specifically for Edith.
Can I just interrupt? Were you about to say when Ingrid told me we had to? It sounded like you were about to say we had to.
I was. Well, you told me what she said, and then you're like, we should do it. And I was like, yeah, we should do it. And then you said, we're doing it. Like, oh, okay.
That's another brainstorming session.
Well, I was agreeing with you, but then you just told me to do it. Okay. So I took Ingrid's advice and I Googled unsolved mysteries or something crazy like that. And I read through a whole bunch of options, and a lot of it was really cool, but it was maybe like 3 things. Like there's a random hole in like Russia. I don't know. That's not what I did my thing on, because I was like, oh, that's cool, but not that cool. So mine is not about people. Mine is about the Voynich Manuscript. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Neither has my know-it-all husband, who he does actually know a lot. So I don't mean any disrespect by that. Okay, so my resources are Wikipedia, of course, the Beneke Library from Yale University, which houses the Voynich Manuscript, Britannica. The article has Yale's mysterious Voynich Manuscript finally been deciphered by Jerry Shaw from the Art newspaper, and The Unsolvable Mysteries for the Voynich Manuscript by Joe Livingstone from the New Yorker from November 2016. All right.
How do you spell Voynich?
Voynich. So It could be Voynich. Like it could be that way, but I'm saying Voynich because I'm not sure.
Is it German?
No.
Oh.
Yes. The Voynich, you'll hear where the guy, he's from.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, you'll hear.
Good.
Okay.
Just go.
All right. So what's the, that word?
The ends.
You know when you look something up in a dictionary and
thesaurus?
And it gives you like the explanation of what it is.
The definition?
The definition. That was the word I was looking for. I'm sorry, you guys. Ingrid went first. I should have went first. Okay.
It's definition. So much more entertaining this way.
Oh, I'm so sorry, everyone. Okay. All right.
Just remember, she's the one who's drinking the glass of wine in our cover art. So this is what you get.
This is very, very true. I thought last episode I didn't drink at all. Now still silly as a goose. So who knows? Maybe
That's
it's
true.
Just my personality.
Silly as a goose.
Silly as a goose. Anyways, my cheeks hurt. All right. So the Voynich Manuscript is described, its description is an illustrated codex handwritten in an unknown writing system referred to as Voynichanese. It's written on animal skin, which is also called vellum. I did not know that. And it has been carbon dated to the early 15th century, and it's believed to be made in Italy during the Italian Renaissance. There are around 240 pages, and it appears some pages are missing. It is named after Wilfrid Voynich, who was a book dealer, and I'll get into him later. And it has never been deciphered despite being analyzed by numerous code breakers and cryptographers. If you'd like to see it in its entirety, Yale University has published it in their digital collections library. But I think you have to pay for it because I clicked on it and it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have to pay for it.
Why Yale?
I'll get into it, how Yale actually ended up with it. Okay. Yeah, no, don't. Fantastic question. I will absolutely get into that. And some of it, when I go into the history of the ownership, it does get a little dry and like, why do we care about these people? But I'm going to do it anyways. Because it's our podcast. Okay. All right. Okay. So the University of Arizona radiocarbon dated it in 2009, and all samples tested fell between the years 1404 and 1438. It showed it was made on calf skin and had not previously been written on before. So I guess back in the day, like you would take some calf skin or whatever kind of vellum, which I now know what it means, whatever kind of vellum or like animal skin that you want. And then when you'd want to reuse it, you would scratch the ink off, like kind of rub it off and then rewrite it. But because the ink like never really left, you could see the imprint of the ink under the new ink. So this was brand new, nothing, like brand new everything. It had never been written on before. So that's what that means. Polarized light microscopy showed the ink contained carbon, iron, sulfur, potassium, calcium, and trace amounts of copper and zinc. Colored paint also appears to be applied at a later date than the ink. Every page contains text in an unidentified language running left to right. It appears to be written in 20 to 25 characters, with a few additional dozen being used once or twice. So it's like our alphabet with like a couple extra jotas added in. And I don't know why I did that. There's also Latin phrases have been written in the book, but they're not believed to be written with the original text, like on the side, like the margins. So
like perhaps somebody taking notes? Exactly.
Yep. So the illustrations help divide the document into 6 sections. The first section is the herbal section. It has plant drawings of 113 unidentified plant species. So of all the plants in all the world, like I think maybe like there's a handful of them. There's like, oh, I think it could be, this must be jasmine. But none of them are obviously like, oh, it must be this plant. So all the herbal pictures are, you can't correlate them to anything. Most of them. The second section is astronomical. There's astronomical and astrological drawings, including astral charts with radiating circles, suns, and moons. There's zodiac symbols such as Pisces. There's a bull for Taurus and an archer for Sagittarius. There's also nude females emerging from pipes or chimneys and quote unquote courtly figures. I don't know what that means.
Like a jester?
I don't know. I'm assuming king and queen. Yeah, that's kind of like
coming out of pipes and chimneys. So this is late enough where there's pipes and chimneys? Like a chimney sweep?
Or like a stack? I mean, because it was the 1400s, so the fire was created by 1400. So I'm assuming.
I made fire.
So yeah, I would assume chimneys have been around by then. Although the pipes are probably more advanced. It probably wasn't pipes because I don't think plumbing was a thing back then. Well, no, that's not true because the Roman aqueducts were built way back when, and it's kind of
way back when though.
Pipe-ish. Oh, geez. I don't know.
Then don't say stuff.
I mean, I think the aqueducts are like around Jesus's time, aren't they? I don't know. Man, I'm not a history professor.
Clearly.
Okay. So that's the second one. So the first one is herbal. First part is herbal. The second part is astronomical. And again, it's divided by the drawings. So there's drawings and words in this book. And then, so the third one is balneological. So I still don't know what that word means, but it's a biological section containing a myriad of drawings of miniature female nudes, most with swelled abdomens. Take with that what you will, immersed or wading in fluids and oddly interacting with interconnecting tubes with the other pages. So there, it looks like there's small nude women doing various things. They're bathing, they're wearing crowns, they're connected by a network of pipes with flowing water from one to the other. So like through the pages, like, you know how like you can connect like, and makes it look like the page on the, like the tube goes to the next page. So it made it look like it was all interconnected. The next one is cosmological, and it's an elaborate array of 9 cosmological medallions, many drawn across several folded folios and depicting possible geographical forms. Ooh, so that was a mouthful. The next is pharmaceutical. Pharmaceutical drawings of over 100 different species of medicinal herbs and roots portrayed with jars or vessels in red, blue, or green. And then the sixth one is called recipes. It's continuous pages of text, possibly recipes, with star-like flowers marking each entry in the margin. So, excuse me. So like, you know, like, like, you know, when you make a bullet point, like, I think that's what it means. But like, instead of a star, it was like an asterisk almost.
Weird.
Super weird. Super, super, super weird. Okay.
Like none of these things even really good. I mean, maybe the medicine and the flowers, but I don't understand the pipes and the women.
I will absolutely get into what people believe it is.
Could you tell me where these were found again? Or did you not?
No,
I haven't.
Yeah, okay. I haven't yet. I will. Absolutely.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, did I miss it?
I know. I'm trying to give a background. So these are like the 6 different sections of the book, and that's what the book's believed to believe. Believed to believe. Believed to be.
Now, were these like bound together?
Yes.
So that it was definitely all supposed to be together. Okay.
Yes. And like some of the pages was just like book page, regular page, but some of them were bigger pages folded in to fit into like the book.
Like if you have like a map that folds out.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Exactly. You can't see her hands, but what she just did was correct. So
maybe one day we'll do a video.
This is maybe. This is what the general purpose of the Voynich Manuscript is called. So it is mostly believed to serve as a pharmacopoeia, which the definition of that is a book containing directions for the identification of compound medicines, and it's published by the authority of a government or a medicinal or pharmaceutical society. So it's believed it is one of those because of the herbs drawn, as well as the images related to alchemy. Astrology also used to play a part in herb gathering, bloodletting, and other medicinal procedures used during the time the manuscript was written. So 1404 to 14, whatever. All right. So
what about the women in the tubes, though? What does that have to do?
Someone covers that, and if it doesn't cover it, I'll totally answer that question in a second. I do know the answer. Okay, so the ownership, it was the first confirmed owner was George Baresch. He was a 17th century alchemist from Prague who owned it around 1639. Baresch, and this is how we found out that he actually owned it. He wrote a letter to Athanasius Kircher. He was a scholar from the Roman college who actually helped decipher some of the Egyptian hieroglyphs. So when Baresch got this book, he's like, you know what, if anyone can decipher it, like I want the guy that could decipher the hieroglyphs. So he wrote a letter to Kircher to help translate the manuscript. No one knows if Kircher actually said, yes, I'll try to help, but he did try to get the actual book. And he's like, hey, give me the book. And Baresch is like, no, I'm not going to give it to you, but you can help me translate it. And so Baresch refused. He's like, no, you can't have it. I just want your help. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so after Baresch died, he gave it to his friend, his last name was Marci, and he was the rector of Charles University in Prague. So Marci is owning it, and in 1665, 1666-ish, Marci sent the book to Kircher, the guy who
How do you spell
deciphered
Marcy? Is it like Marchi?
Marci.
Okay. Isn't Czech more like harsh? Marchi? I don't know. Like I know.
I don't know. I thought he was Italian for some reason, but
Okay.
no, he's in Prague. So yeah,
Right.
it's probably Marchi. So they sent it to Kircher with a letter that Marcy, I'm going to just call him Marcy.
Okay.
Saying it that in my head.
Merci.
And in this letter, Marcy said that the book belonged to the Holy Roman Emperor and King of Bohemia, Rudolph II, who bought the book for 600 ducats, which was a European trade coin, which is about 2 kilograms of gold. So Rudolph II, this is all from Mercy's letter. It was believed that the author was 13th century Roger Bacon, whose nickname was Dr. Mirabilis. Don't know why that's his nickname. He was a medieval English philosopher and a Franciscan friar, but apparently like he had his hand a lot in ciphers and deciphering things and like writing in codes. Like he wrote a bunch of codes and like he'd write say he would write the letter T and like the capital letter T, but to make it a little more ciphered, he would put a dash on the top line of the T, like 2 dashes going slant. So like those 2 dashes would mean something to him and whoever else knew his cipher. But like if one was pointing left and one was pointing right, that would mean something else. So he did little things in his manuscripts to decode stuff. Like, wow, man. So Bacon actually was regarded as a wizard because he also made a mechanical / necromantic brazen head.
I'm sorry. In my head, I just heard you're a wizard, Ari.
Hogwarts, here he comes. But like, so back in the day, like he made a head that would sit in his fire and talk because it was out of mechanics. But people thought it was like necromancy because they didn't know mechanics very well and that like robotics and that you could get something to do that. So he was called a wizard because of that.
Sirius Black.
Yes. Okay. So after
such
that,
a nerd.
It was then, it was kept in Kircher's library at the Collegio Romano. It's the Roman college, and that's now called the Pontifical Gregorian University. So the Catholics got their hand in there somehow. It is believed to have remained there until 1870, so like 200 years, when an Italian ruler captured Rome and annexed the Papal States. And the Papal States are territories on the Italian peninsula, in case you needed to know that. So in 1903, the Society of Jesus from the Roman College needed money and sold some of their items to the Vatican. Not all went to the Vatican, and somehow, mysteriously and secretly, Wilfrid Voynich got 30 of those manuscripts to include the Voynich Manuscript. It was a quote unquote, yes, under conditions of total secrecy that he obtained these documents. So no one knows how. Like it's super weird.
Who was he though? Like
I will get into who he was actually. I'm literally about to. So Voynich, he was born in 1864 in I'm going to butcher it. I'm so sorry. Telsiai, Lithuania. He reportedly spoke 20 languages fluently. He was arrested in 1885 in Convo, Lithuania, for his memberships in a social revolutionary group and was sentenced to exile for 5 years in Siberia, like with no trial. He's like, you're guilty, exiled to Siberia. So he eventually escaped his exile and he paid for a boat ride from Hamburg to England with his, it said waistcoat and glasses. So I don't know if it was like a really nice pea coat or something. I don't know. He became part of an intellectual group known as Stepniak. Stepniak supported Sergei Kravchinsky, who was a Russian quote unquote agitator. So I'm guessing he was anti-communism. I'm not sure what happened back in the 1800s. He was also known for showing off his scars from swords and bullets. So like he had a really crazy life. So he was very rebellious and, It was that kind of life. So after all of this kind of crazy life, he settled down and he became a book dealer because that's the natural path for people. I've had this crazy life. I escaped from exile. I've been in sword fights and bullet fights, and now I'll become a book dealer.
Well, what better place than to continue to hear about all of that exciting life than books?
Very true. And when he was in Siberia, he actually read a lot and became very educated. So, I mean, if he could speak 20 languages fluently, like he sounds like a very well-educated person. Okay. So, during this time, he, quote unquote, accidentally sold a forgery of a book to the British Museum. And he also toured the U.S. to spread the word about his Voynich manuscript to try to get it to sell. He even talked with the New York Times about it. And he has a quote in the New York Times stating, I will prove to the world that the black magic of the Middle Ages consisted in discoveries far in advance of 20th century science. So he's saying that the Voynich manuscript, was more advanced than 20th century science.
Maybe it's aliens.
That is one of the theories. So I will say Voynich never did crack the code. He died in 1930, and the manuscript went to his wife, Ethel. Ethel. Sorry. When she died in 1960, she left it to her friend, Anne Nil. Nil sold it to Hans P. Kraus, antique book dealer. I don't know why I did that. In 1961, Kraus could not find a buyer for it. So in 1961, he still couldn't find anyone to buy this manuscript. Like people just weren't interested in it still. So then he donated it to Yale University in 1969. Yeah, so that's how Yale ended up getting it. So these are some of the beliefs as to what happened. Some believe Voynich fabricated the manuscript. He was an antique book dealer. He had the means and the knowledge to do it. And he also had that manuscript he sold to the British Museum accidentally. That was a forgery. He also knew a book. So Voynich thought it was written by Roger Bacon, who was the wizard. So he also knew a book by Roger Bacon would be worth a lot of money. So however, the letters from Boresh, the very first guy that's on paper owning it, and Marcy did not specifically say it was a Voynich manuscript, but that was just a manuscript. So some people believe that those letters motivated Voynich to create a manuscript after discovering the letters. So it's saying like he saw the letters between Boresh and Marcy, and he's like, I have this 14th, 15th century calfskin, and I'm going to create all these letters, 240 pages of drawings and letters. However, there's no proof.
So like you said, though, like this was all just only one print on it. It wasn't multiple. It wasn't reused.
Exactly.
Ever. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So, however, there's no proof that Voynich knew of the letters, and Boresh's letter to Marcy, or to Kirsch, was discovered in June 1999. So Voynich wasn't even alive then, unless like there's some way that he knew of Boresh's letters when he was alive still. But there's no way to prove it. Some think that Giovanni Fontana's drawings, I'm not quite sure who he is, resemble illustrations in the book. Fontana was also familiar with cryptography and used it in his books. I'm guessing he was an illustrator from back in the day. Another idea is that the letter and manuscripts were a hoax played on Kircher to make him look foolish. There was an earlier supposed hoax by Andreas Mueller, which sent unintelligible text to Kircher and said that it had come from Egypt, and he asked for translations. So Kircher was like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'll translate it. And so he translated all these Egyptian hieroglyphs that were just gibberish to make, like people were so mean back then.
Did he actually make it make sense?
Yes.
And then
he translated it. Yeah.
And then they all laughed at him and said, it's fake.
Yes, which is so crappy. It's also
people were mean back then. They're still mean.
They are so mean. It's also suggested that another cryptographer who was a friend of Marcy made the manuscript as an example of his unbreakable cipher that he created. So he said he could create this. And so they think it was just like, oh, I'll show you. This is my example of my unbreakable cipher. They say it might be a code book or a dictionary. Another idea is that it might be shorthand Latin. Like I was telling you about like the slants of a letter might look one way, it's like the smallest little detail. It also said that maybe important information is embedded in it, like every other letter or every other word means something, which is called steganography. It does not show patterns of natural languages, and it does not show random text. So it's very weird. There's a linguist, Jacques Guy, joked that it could be Chinese, but when he decided to analyze it further, he saw that the word lengths appeared similar to Eastern and Central Asian languages. Another suggested it was North Germanic dialect. William Friedman, who actually is a well-known cryptologist, suggested that someone made up a language, that they just decided to make up their own language.
It's like Pig Latin.
Yeah, exactly. And my example is one created for a purpose, like Klingon. That was my example.
No.
So you want to go nerdy with Hogwarts? I went nerdy with Star Trek.
Goodness, mine's not that bad.
Okay.
Trek. Goodness. Okay.
So it was believed to be a hoax. So it's mostly believed to be a hoax because no one has ever been able to solve it. Therefore, the text has been believed to be meaningless. A 2007 study by an Austrian researcher showed the text was more consistent with gibberish than Latin or medieval German texts, which is when it was carbon dated too.
Well, what if it was written by somebody who lost their mind?
Oh, sister. Oh my gosh, that is actually one of the theories.
Okay.
You are not wrong. So 2013, a theoretical physicist from the University of Manchester, his name is Montemurro, said the text appeared too sophisticated to be a hoax because of the semantic networks, which means the relations between words, like noun, verb, whatever, that they exist in the text. 2016, two people showed a simple hoax method could have caused the mathematical properties of the manuscript that Montemurro was talking about. 2019, two other authors, Tim and Schinner, created an algorithm that matches the statistical characteristics of the manuscript and that it could have been used in medieval times to create a hoax. So they're saying that someone back in the 1400s I'm going to make a joke on somebody and do this 240-page joke. I guess they did. I mean, what else would they do back then? No, they don't have TV.
Survive.
They don't have podcasts.
Right. But they also didn't have luxuries of Instacart and vehicles to transport them places quickly.
They had alcohol and mead.
That's the same thing.
Well, I was thinking actually wine and meat.
They had to harvest the ingredients to make those things.
True. But I don't know, how fun would it be to right now, I'm going to write in a notebook and write complete gibberish. And hopefully someone 4,000 years, not 4,000 years, 400 years. No, that's still not right. However many. However many years.
800?
I don't know. Sure. Okay. So it's been suggested that the manuscript is an example of speaking in tongues. So this guy, Jerry Kennedy and Rob Churchill, wrote a book on it. They suggest it could be a stream of thoughts or writing of voices heard, aka tangential thoughts. So
a beautiful mind.
Exactly. Someone who is either hearing the voices and is writing down what the voices are saying, or is that delusional that is writing in their own language.
Right. Thinking that they're actually putting down good, this is my best work.
Right. Yes, exactly.
That's what I think it is.
So the manuscript was compared to illustrator Hildegard von Bingen's drawings when she suffered from a migraine. And she called it a quote unquote, as exampled by the quote unquote stream of stars and the nymphs. So the naked women. So they think it's the drawings were from that, like all the women everywhere and like the tubes connecting them all. So this theory has been found unlikely by other researchers. It is hard to prove or disprove until the text is deciphered. So the two men concluded their book with Kennedy said that he thinks it's a hoax or a forgery. And Churchill said that it could either be a forgotten language or a forgery. However, Churchill also...
Winston Churchill?
No, Greg and...
Well, I was thinking, I'm like, JFK and Churchill are in on this?
Jerry and Rob. Jerry Kennedy and Rob Churchill. Wrong Kennedy, wrong Churchill.
What's the Queen have to say about all this?
So actually, Churchill also said that if the manuscript is real, he believes the author suffered from a mental illness or delusions, which totally makes sense. So some of the deciphers that happened, William Newbold, he said it was Robert Bacon, the wizard, and that the overall text is meaningless, but each quote unquote letter can be found with markings seen only under a microscope, like how Bacon did his crypto.
Oh my
ciphers.
Gosh!
Yeah, but it
Who's
hasn't
going
been...
to take that much time?
Oh, a lot of people.
No. To do it as a hoax. Who's going to be that specific for each little letter?
Well, that's what would make it think it was real.
Symbol.
As if someone makes all these little tick marks.
But for 200 something pages?
It was not founded. So his decipher has not been founded. Joseph Feely said it's abbreviated Latin in a simple cipher. Also not founded. Lionel Strong said it was written by another cryptographer back in the day. And that the selected words, he used selected words to combine them into phrases, which is insanely subjective. Like, I'm going to choose these words, these letters, and I'm going to say they make this word. Like, that's what he did. So not founded. Robert Brombaugh said it was a forgery to fool Rudolph II, the Holy Emperor of Emperor. I just said Emperor, the Holy Emperor of Holy Roman Emperor.
I like how you clarify that I just said because nobody heard that. This is a podcast. All people are doing is listening. Everyone heard it.
Okay, so he said it's a Latin cipher with a complex two-step method. I'm not going to get into the methods of cryptology because it's a friggin' lot. John Stojko said it's a series of letters written without vowels in Ukrainian, which, so Ukraine was kind of like, oh, maybe it's ours, maybe it's not ours, not founded. Stephen Bax claimed it was a manuscript on nature, an Eastern or Asian language, and he used similar methods that were used to decipher the Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Can they determine by the, not the ingredients, but the parts of the paper or the ink, like where it originated from?
I don't know if they've gone. Well, no, they know it's European.
Okay, but they can't.
They know that the calfskin,
any further.
No, but I mean, I think back then, like everything. Well, not everything, but a lot of stuff was actually probably.
So they can't tell if it's like a Wisconsin dairy cow versus California.
Maybe with like DNA, actually, they probably could. But I don't know what difference that would make. That would just show where the vellum came from.
Right, but the ink as well.
But I think it's maybe like Hewlett Packard. Like Hewlett Packard makes a crap ton of paper. Like how are you going to tell that one piece of paper came from one specific company?
From Scranton.
Shout out to The Office. That was nice. Okay. Nicholas Gibbs said it was abbreviated Latin, and it is a guide to women's health because of all the women's pictures, the tubes, the women that showed that they were pregnant, like with a descended, the swelled bellies.
Or bloated.
Yeah. I had too much pizza. Not speaking from experience ever, right?
Right.
Greg Kondrak said it used computational linguistics, most likely Hebrew. Okay. Ahmet Ardik said it's an old Turkish in a poetic style and that words were spelled phonetically. So supposedly he deciphered 30% of it. Not founded though. All these deciphers are not founded. Gerard Cheshire, Cheshire, not Cheshire. There's no
Butler.
H. Gerard Butler said, "This is Sparta." And he's called it quote unquote shoot calligraphic proto-romance language. Oh my goodness. It's almost ending, guys. I swear to God, it's almost ending. He deciphered it in 2 weeks. 240 pages, deciphered it in 2 weeks. He said it's about herbal remedies, therapeutic bathing, and astrological readings, medicinal plants, and works on female physical and mental health, reproduction, and parenting. He said it was written by Dominican nuns for Maria of Castile, the Queen of Aragon. Unfounded. Rainier Hanig. This is recent. This is from 2020. So Rainier Hanig believes it's to be based in Hebrew. He translated the first words and then full sentences with the belief that it was Hebrew. And so following his decipher of that, there was supposed to be a conference held in Hamburg in 2020,
but
COVID happened and it didn't happen. However, there was a conference scheduled in Masida, Malta, from November 30th, 2022 to December 1st, 2022.
Let's go.
To Malta? Let's go to Malta.
Hey, guys, do you want us to go with you?
Create a GoFundMe so we can go. So it's crazy. Like, this manuscript is just, no one has any idea what it is. And it could be nothing or it could be something really cool.
Have they thought about giving it to somebody that has like schizophrenia or weird migraines and asking, well, I guess if you have a migraine, you can't really read, but see if somebody can just, like, oh, I know what that means.
If they see it and then it makes sense.
Yeah.
It actually did not talk about that at all. So I have no idea. But like, if you go and you look at it, does look Hebrewish, like, because there's a lot of like looping letters. So we'll put pictures of it on our Instagram so you can see the examples of what they show, like some of the pictures. And like, it's like, I am not a drawer. I am not very good at drawing at all. And it's like, if I was trying to draw, it's terrible. It's like not good drawing. It's not something you would want in like good documentation, you know?
That's very interesting.
It is. And I think it's interesting that none of the plants are identifiable because plants are plants.
Well, that's weird. But this is, and they're sure they're able to date it to 14.
The calf skin is dated to them.
But what about the ink?
You know, I didn't actually see anything about the ink being dated there. So that's the Voynich Manuscripts.
So weird.
It is so weird. I mean, it's so old that I honestly, I hope it's a hoax. I hope like someone back in the 1400s is like, I'm going to get either Kircher or King Rudolph or whoever they were trying to hoax. And I hope that's what because it's freaking hilarious.
That is
dedication to the joke, right?
I don't remember where I heard it. Speaking of dedication, there was like a woman who hated her sister-in-laws. And they were always looking at her jewelry. And when she died, she like hid the jewelry in all these different parts of her house. And so when they found it, they're like, yes, well, it's all costume jewelry. And I'm like, talk about dedication. She like saw through to even hide it to make it look like it was more.
That's awesome.
Crazy story.
Those are your mysteries. No idea what it is still. Maybe we'll find out in later this year.
When we're in Malta.
When we're in Malta helping the Brainiacs decipher.
We're not going to help. We're just going to record. and entertain, surely.
Of course. And make Harry Potter and Star Wars jokes. Star Trek.
You weren't even cool enough to be Star Wars.
Well, it was a total Klingon.
Oh, Jesse.
Anyways.
So, okay. Well, thanks for listening. Happy Independence Day again.
Yep.
And you'll hear it all at the end, but look us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, our what's it called? Website.
Oh, okay.
Send us some stuff. If you don't want to send an actual situation, send us a scenario that you want us to talk about or something. We'll do it.
Or a story, yeah.
And we won't be here next week.
So enjoy. We will enjoy.
Enjoy your silence.
I actually am caught up on all my podcasts this week, and on my way to work, I was like, what am I supposed to do? Listen to the radio? Like I was, so I called mom like every day. And I called mom
what's funny is my house is not as clean if I don't listen to podcasts. So we're going to take a week off. When we come back, we've talked about doing some fables.
Mm-hmm.
My 5-year-old really wants to come on. I don't know that she really understands what a podcast is, but she wants to do it. So maybe I'll have her tell a fable. I'm sure she'll make one up on the spot.
I mean, I could have my 4-year-old come on and tell her favorite bedtime story.
And then
that she also makes up.
Then, oh God, the two of them on together, they'll make one up together. And then we've also talked about maybe doing another How Did I Not Die episode or two.
Yeah.
And that'll bring us to August. I think we have some subjects in August.
Yeah. But feel free to write out to us. Right.
Please.
Into us or out. Or hi,
left or right. We're at Another Situation Podcast at gmail.com.
Yes.
I'm
Facebook.
Ingrid.
I'm Jessica. Oh, don't even ask what we say because I can never remember it anymore.
Oh, it's B.
I thought it was stay. No, it's B. Be happy, be healthy, be
mysterious.
Your body is yours.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to reach out to us or submit your situation, please contact us at anothersituationpodcast@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at Another Situation Podcast. We're also on Facebook at Another Situation.
Another Situation is produced and edited by Point 5 Pinoy. Music is written and performed by Tim Crow.